Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are plunging into a topic that forms the bedrock of one of life's most important connections, marriage.
Yeah, we're looking at excerpts from a book called Before You Plan Your Wedding, Plan Your Marriage.
And right at the heart of this material, there's this really powerful question it asks us to grapple with. Are you truly preparing for the wedding day, or are you preparing for the entire life together that comes after?
Exactly. So our mission in this deep dive is to pull out the most, essential insights from these sources, kind of give you a shortcut to understanding what's really crucial for building a strong, resilient relationship.
One that lasts way beyond the I-dos.
Right.
Whether you're just starting to think about marriage or maybe you're deep in engagement planning, newlyweds, navigating that first year, or even if you've been married for decades.
Hmm.
The principles we're going to explore are really designed to help you cultivate a relationship that feels deeply safe, connected, and, well, capable of weathering any storm.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's dive right into what the sources highlight as arguably the most fundamental factor in any relationship.
Safety.
Safety.
Yeah. And the reason safety is so foundational, according to this material, it starts with understanding the human heart. Proverbs 4.23 is mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. The idea being the heart is where life and relationships happen, and it's kind of wired to open up when it feels safe.
But it closes, instinctively closes and protects itself when it senses fear or, a threat.
You see this all the time, right? And
That-
even in really simple interactions.
Oh, definitely. The source uses this great little anecdote about the author's cat, Bumble, and their son, Garrison. Garrison just loves cats and wants to hold Bumble. But Bumble wants nothing to do with him. Why?
Doesn't feel safe.
Doesn't feel safe. She actively avoids him. It's like a perfect, simple picture of how fear just immediately leads to closing off, disconnecting.
Right. And when they talk about emotional safety in marriage, they define it as like the feeling that your deepest stuff, your feelings, vulnerabilities, desires, they're going to be met with real interest and curiosity and care.
Yeah, genuine interest. And the tough truth the sources point out is that for a lot of people, maybe most people, that level of safety is incredibly hard to find or maintain.
It really is. And this is where the concept of honor comes in. The sources say it's absolutely critical for building that safety.
And honor isn't just a feeling, right? They define it as a conscious decision. You decide to place high value, high worth importance on your partner.
Choosing to see them as a priceless gift from God.
Exactly. The material actually says honor is what gives legs to saying, I love you. It's the action behind the words.
That's powerful. It's a decision you make even if you're not feeling particularly loving or, frankly, honored yourself in that moment.
And there's biblical backing mentioned, Romans 12.10, encouraging us to give preference to one another in honor.
Of course, we're human. Perfect honoring. Not realistic. We mess up. Constantly.
We hurt the people we love, often without meaning to. But the source offers this really impactful way to recenter on honor when you fail. Saying to yourself first, maybe, and then genuinely to your partner, you are too valuable to treat like that. Would you forgive me?
Wow. That phrase acknowledges the value you've chosen to place on them, even when your behavior didn't line up.
And this connects directly to trust, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Honor and trust. Trust isn't built once and then you're done. It's earned. It's maintained day by day, interaction by interaction through that consistent, respectful, honoring behavior.
But here's where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit challenging. The sources really stress that safety isn't just about your partner honoring you. It's fundamentally about being safe with yourself.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means knowing your own heart is valuable, it's vulnerable, and being willing to actually set boundaries when your partner is treating you in dishonoring ways, like screaming, cussing, belittling. You have to protect your own heart first. So it's not about controlling them, it's about controlling your response, protecting yourself.
Exactly. And the source gives some pretty direct example dialogue for setting that boundary in a self-honoring way. Something like, I would love to listen to you, but not like this.
Okay.
If you are willing to talk about this where we both feel respected, then sign me up. But I will not sit here and allow myself to be dishonored.
Wow. That takes strength.
It really does. Incredible inner strength. And the result, when both partners commit to this, honoring themselves and honoring each other, it's transformational.
The relationship becomes a truly safe haven.
Yeah, and that safety leads to relaxation, which fosters openness.
And that openness paves the way for incredibly deep intimacy.
Okay, so safety is the foundation. What's the actual goal then? What are we building towards?
Well, the sources take us to a potentially surprising idea here, something that really challenges a common assumption people bring into marriage,
Which is?
that the primary goal for your marriage is just your mutual happiness.
Right, feels almost universal in modern culture.
But the sources say, based on their understanding, that's not God's main goal at all.
Okay, so what is?
Instead, the purpose they present is that God intends to use your marriage, kind of like a crucible,
Mm.
to help you become more like Christ. They reference Romans 8.29. The authors are really candid about their own story, going into marriage thinking, great, this person will make me happy, fix my issues.
Ken quickly realizing.
That wasn't happening. Which, yeah, spoiler alert, marriage rarely just does that.
So this distinction they make between happiness and joy is really key here.
Absolutely. Happiness, as they define it, is fleeting. It depends entirely on what happens to you, on circumstances lining up just right.
External stuff.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Joy, on the other hand, is presented as this inner peace, something that comes from trusting God even when you're walking through really painful valleys, difficult times. It echoes Philippians 4.
So framing the inevitable trials, the suffering that comes up in marriage, it's not about failure.
Not at all. It's about opportunity. Opportunities for growth, refining your character, strengthening your faith, experiencing that deeper, more resilient joy.
It's a very different perspective than, say, the anecdote about parents just saying, oh, I just want my kids to be happy.
Right. A sentiment the authors admit makes them kind of cringe because it misses that deeper, transformative purpose.
And this purpose ties right back to personal responsibility, doesn't it?
Oh, big time. The source is blunt here.
Yeah.
Each person is 100% responsible for their own journey towards becoming who God intends them to be.
They use the Adam and Eve story.
Yeah, Genesis 3.1.
Yeah.
Adam immediately blames Eve and God, actually. It just highlights that pointing fingers at your partner for your stuff, it doesn't work. And it stops your own growth.
The sources back this up with several scriptures focusing on the individual, right? Search me, O God, you must follow me. As far as it depends on you, live at peace. Each one should carry his own load.
Exactly. The common thread is the responsibility starts with you.
And part of that responsibility involves cultivating your own inner life, living balanced, taking care of yourself.
Yes. The idea is you can't consistently give emotionally or spiritually what you don't possess yourself. It's not selfish. It's actually part of love others as yourself. Jesus assumes a healthy self-love is the foundation.
Your core job is to become the whole healthy person God created you to be.
Right. And there's this great anecdote about the dad with the sputtering boat engine.
Mm-hmm.
It illustrates where we try to get our power. If you're trying to draw your core, happiness, security, worth from your partner, circumstances, other people, it's like running on fumes. Sputtering, anxious, empty
The true power source.
is presented as coming from God,
Yeah.
which leads us to love itself. The sources argue that true, unconditional love isn't something you just, manufacture on your own.
It flows from God. They reference 1 John.
Yeah, 1 John 4. The key isn't trying harder to generate love, but keeping your own heart open to receive God's love so it can then flow through you to your partner.
Like the Tin Woodman anecdote from Oz, he had a heart.
He just couldn't feel or give love until it was opened up, unblocked.
Okay. So, safety first. Understanding the real purpose. How do we actually navigate the challenges? The inevitable stuff.
Right, this next section digs into expectations and conflict, guaranteed parts of merging two lives.
Absolutely. You bring two people together with unique histories, unspoken wishes, hopes, even unconscious rules about how life should be.
It's a recipe for misunderstandings if you're not careful. The anecdote about Erin just assuming they'd move back to Phoenix after seminary.
Classic. Greg never agreed.
Exactly. An unstated expectation causing friction. It taps into one of those marital myths the sources warn about. Yeah. The dangerous idea that your partner can or should read your mind.
The story about Greg rating Erin's hair a 9.3.
Perfect example. He thought it was a compliment. Her unspoken expectation. A perfect 10. Result. Hurt. Misunderstanding.
Needs have to be verbalized. Sometimes repeatedly.
Because expecting mind reading, it just leads to misperceptions, escalating conflict. Guaranteed.
And when those expectations aren't met spoken or unspoken, what happens?
Well, conflict, obviously. Perceptions get distorted, like the money anecdote, where disagreements over spending make you see your partner as irresponsible or controlling.
And disappointment. That's a big indicator, they say.
Yeah, disappointment is a key sign, and expectation has gone unmet. So the sources offer a clear 5-step process for dealing with expectations constructively.
Okay, what are they?
1. Claim them. Take responsibility for your own happiness, your feelings. Don't make them your partner's job.
2, feel them. Let yourself feel the disappointment or frustration. It's a signal.
3, check their validity. Is this realistic? Does my partner even know about it? Does my feeling loved depend on this? Is it actually a demand?
Okay. 4, express them clearly. Make the unspoken spoken. Use I statements. I would appreciate it if. I would prefer. State the desire.
And 5, allow your partner to decide if they can meet that need. You've said it. Now it's up to them. No pressure, no obligation, how they respond.
All right. Moving from expectations to just conflict in general. They introduced this concept called the fear dance.
Yeah, the fear dance. It's presented as this universal, predictable pattern couples fall into during fights.
Okay.
The core idea is that underneath our reactions are often our deepest fears and our corresponding wants. But our typical reactions when our buttons get pushed. They tend to push our partner's buttons, shutting down safety, keeping the negative cycle going.
So what does this dance look like? What are the steps?
They describe 2 common ones. First, withdrawal, pulling away emotionally or physically. Choosing flight.
Okay.
They note this is common for men. Partly, physiological heart rate shoots up over 100 BPM in conflict, triggers the need to disengage to calm down, but habitual withdrawal. Very high predictor of divorce because nothing gets resolved.
You avoid the fight, but you bury the hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it comes back as resentment, bitterness, distance. The second step is escalation. The opposite.
Getting louder, more intense.
Yeah, raising voices, arguments, spiraling, saying hurtful things.
Both sound pretty destructive. So how do you break out of this fear dance that gives steps for that too?
7 steps. Step 1, create space, a timeout. Like the Hulk needing to become Bruce Banner again. You need to regulate your emotions before you can connect.
The anecdote about Greg knocking over the motorcycle, he needed space first.
Right. Needed to process his own fear and frustration before talking. Step 2, identify your buttons pushed and your reaction. What triggered you? How did you respond? Withdraw, escalate, criticize.
Step 3, take your buttons to the Lord. Process your pain, your hurt, internally, spiritually. Validate your own emotions with God's help. Get your heart open again.
Step 4, care for each other's hearts. This is vital. Make the primary goal understanding your partner's feelings, even if you disagree. Listen with empathy. Show their experience matters.
That's heart talk, making understanding the goal, not being understood.
Precisely. Like the lawyer grass anecdote, he heard the words about the grass, but missed her emotional need for connection entirely. You have to listen for the heart.
Conveying, I see you, I hear you, your feelings make sense, they matter. That builds safety.
Huge difference. Step 5, seek forgiveness. Back to personal responsibility. Own your part, the hurtful words, the withdrawal, the escalation.
The anecdote about Greg and Erin stuck on, who apologizes for his pride, gets in the way.
Totally. Just admit what you did wrong and ask, will you forgive me for? And be patient. Forgiveness might take time.
Step 6, find a solution you both feel great about. The no losers policy.
Not compromise where everyone loses something, but a true win-win. Dig deeper. What's the underlying want or need behind each position?
Like the wedding song argument, when I fall in love.
Perfect example. They dug in. Her win, the flow of the ceremony, his win. He just really liked the song. The win-win. Play it at the reception.
Right.
They suggest practicing this on small stuff first.
Makes sense. And step 7.
Reaffirm your commitment to this no losers policy. Remind each other. We're a team. We find solutions that work for both of us.
But what if you really, truly can't agree?
The sources argue that if you're honestly doing the steps, focusing on needs, not positions, a win-win is almost always possible. And many urgent decisions aren't actually that urgent.
But if one absolutely must be made,
then the person with the most knowledge or experience in that area makes the call. But and this is crucial, with extreme caution, deep humility, acknowledging they could be wrong, and taking full responsibility if it backfires. No pulling rank like I'm the man.
Okay. So, foundation, purpose, conflict navigation. Let's shift to practical prep, especially for those heading towards marriage. Engagement period focus.
Huge emphasis on engagement. They compare it to planting a Chinese bamboo tree. Lots of unseen work underground for a while.
But that foundational work allows for massive growth later.
Exactly. Based on a survey of 10,000 couples, successful ones focused on key areas during engagement. 1, building a vibrant spiritual relationship, weaving God into the connection before the wedding.
Prayer together was big.
Most recommended practice, along with discussing faith honestly. The finding that many couples never pray together. That's highlighted as a major missed opportunity for unity and drawing on that power source. Daily prayer together is suggested.
They also spent significant quality time together, obviously. and really prioritize getting to know each other deeply.
Yeah, the advice is basically earn a PhD in your partner. Learn their quirks, history, needs, dreams, fears. Discuss everything. Finances, sex, kids, family, careers, holidays, the tough stuff.
The anecdote about Greg and Erin separating during engagement, and she felt like she was sleeping with a stranger on the honeymoon.
Stark warning. They hadn't had those daily life, deep knowing conversations. They strongly advise against long separations before the wedding.
They also touch on physical boundaries during engagement.
Yep, acknowledge it's hard, but stress setting limits and having accountability, same-sex friends, group activities to protect the relationship.
And they mention research on living together before marriage.
Right. Referencing findings that suggest negative outcomes, less satisfaction, less commitment, higher divorce risk later. From their perspective, the source strongly recommends living apart if already cohabiting, for both moral and relational reasons stated in the research.
Okay, moving into early marriage, this leaving and cleaving idea from Genesis.
Crucial foundational process. Leaving isn't abandoning family or friends, it's shifting primary loyalty. Your spouse becomes number one, forging a new family unit.
The Europe trip anecdote. Erin feeling sidelined by his family. That's when leaving hasn't happened.
Exactly. Conflict arises when priorities aren't clear. And this leaving is noted as particularly critical for men. Research cited suggests a husband's lack of independence from both parents is the biggest predictor of poor marital adjustment for both spouses.
Managing practical stuff without dad, emotional ties with mom causing guilt.
Right. Then there's leaving friendships. Early on, spouse comes first, even before friends. That can adjust later, but establish the primary bond.
The honeymoon anecdote with the ex-girlfriend and friend showing up, yikes.
It underscores evaluating opposite-sex friendships. Does your spouse worry? Is it causing tension? Are you hiding things? If yes, boundaries are probably needed.
Leaving your single lifestyle, merging habits, routines. The gym versus home bike anecdote.
Simple, relatable, and acknowledging grief over losing some single freedoms is part of it.
And finally, leaving past emotional baggage. Bring carry-on, not steamer trunks.
Deal with past stuff, parents' divorce, failed relationships, abuse, past sexual experiences. The emphasis is on God's restoration. The old is gone, the new has come.
Specifically on past premarital sex, they suggest treasure hunting, the pain for positives like increased sensitivity, humility.
Yeah, finding growth in it. And crucially, building buffer zones against future temptation, drawing clear lines on activities, clothing, time alone, kissing, media.
Football analogy, middle of the field is safest.
Exactly. And seek accountability. Ecclesiastes 4 is mentioned there.
The sources do acknowledge the first year is often really tough, right? Surveys show it.
Definitely. Adjusting to living together, different habits, unrealistic expectations, conflict, it all hits, which reinforces why you need the tools we've discussed.
Money issues are a big one mentioned. Different personalities, habits clashing.
For sure. The money quiz examples show the differences. Bargain hunter versus stockpiler. Credit card user versus debt hater. ATM quick draw versus put-off purchase. Stuff versus savings. Impulse buys.
And revisiting the win-win principle is key for money fights, too. Like the example where her win was discussing purchases, his was a spending limit.
They found a way to honor both needs. It comes back to that core concept. Two become one. Genesis 2, Matthew 19. The unity candle idea.
Trying to stay totally separate within marriage actually makes it feel unsafe.
Right. Blending, becoming one unit while still being individuals, that's key for unity and safety. And love is shown through action, not just words. The father asking the fiancé about his plans for his daughter, not just his feelings.
Plans show intent, value. Okay, bringing us towards the end here. Relational needs, vital fuel for the marriage.
Absolutely. Companionship is a huge need marriage is meant to meet. Sharing your needs openly increases understanding, clarifies actions, builds trust, security, safety.
And everyone's needs are different, shaped by personality, background, expectations. You have to learn yours and your partner's.
The source uses the acronym LUE for the top 10 needs found in research. Listen, offer yourself time, presence, value, and honor. Embrace physical touch. There's a detailed list in the source, apparently.
The big anecdote about moving to Arkansas pulls a lot of this together.
Yeah, a real-life case study. Expressing needs and fears, honestly grieving, leaving home, friends, using the no-losers policy, committing to a win-win, creating safety through that commitment even before the solution was clear.
Hearing that commitment to a win-win made one partner feel totally safe and valued. Powerful.
It really is.
Wow, we have covered a lot in this deep dive. From the essential foundation of safety and honor to the maybe countercultural purpose of marriage being about growth, not just happiness. We dug into navigating expectations and conflict, the fear dance steps, the no losers policy.
Intentional preparation during engagement, leaving and cleaving, understanding relational needs as that language of connection.
Yeah, the sources consistently make it clear. Building a strong marriage is challenging, it's ongoing work, can be messy.
But profoundly rewarding.
Yeah.
And a recurring point is that focus on your own personal responsibility, your growth, your reactions. Because tough as it is, you can't fundamentally change your partner.
Right. So as we wrap up, here's maybe a final thought from this material for you to consider. If you genuinely embrace this idea that the ultimate goal of marriage, from a divine perspective, is to help you become more whole, more Christ-like.
How does that shift your perspective when the inevitable disagreements, frustrations, painful challenges come up?
Does seeing those trials less as failures and maybe more as difficult opportunities for your own growth, does that make them feel less threatening?
Yeah.
Perhaps even
Sure.
purposeful.
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.